Hey, what's going down, everybody? This is your boy Jay Mason, inside the Time Machine on WUAG 103.FM, playing the best of new and old school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have Bunny DeBarge from the legendary family DeBarge. Bunny, thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Pretty good. Rushing around here, but we always got time for the fans.
I see you are a busy bee.
Yep.
Now, let's go ahead and start it all at the beginning. When did you know that singing was something that you wanted to pursue as a career?
I would say when I was about 18, 19 in high school, we were singing already, but I wanted to go out into the secular world. We were singing in church, and I wanted to go out into the secular world, and we'd heard the Jackson 5, and we were like, oh, we can do that, so I would say about 19.
19, and you guys are from out of Michigan, correct?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, did your brothers, all you guys were singing in the church, so what was it like? You guys were singing in the church, and you guys wanted to go to the secular world, and in the church, that's like a big no-no.
Right, and I talk about that in my book as well. It was something, we were taught that it was devil music, and so, we felt that we had to leave our Bibles on the shelf and leave our God and go out into the world to do this. First we tried to do, get a gospel contract, but that didn't seem to work out. And Bobby and Tommy, who were in Swit, they had already ventured out and got a deal with Motown. So we were like, that even gave us even more, initiative to go on and do the secular music.
Okay, now what was it like at the time that your brothers were in Switch and they had the hit song "I'll Call Your Name," which was sampled this past year by Rich Boy for Throw Some D's? So what was it like at that time, them doing their thing before DeBarge really came out and exploded? Oh,
it was exciting, man. I mean, we were telling everybody our brothers were with Motown, just to hear their songs on the radio. That it was very exciting, and I'm telling you that it gave us even much more of a drive to want to go out to L.A. and do our own thing.
Okay, now how did the whole DeBarge concept come about, and how did you guys go about scoring the deal with Motown?
Oh, gosh, that's a real long story. To make the long story short, the guys, when I first went out there, my other brothers, which was Al, Randy, and Mark, and James, who are in DeBarge, they were in another, under another contract with Source Records, and so we had to get them out of that contract. I was the only one that wasn't signed in order to be with Motown, and Bobby kept telling us to wait till I do this, but he was so busy at the time doing his second album, and we didn't want to wait. We were out there starving, so they went on and signed with another company. We had to get them out of that company in order for Motown to even talk to us. So we didn't want them to, have to go to court or anything, so we had to get out of that contract. So I had to go up to Source Records, kind of beg him to let my brothers go because they weren't big enough of a company, and we wanted to be on salary like our brothers. So it was nothing but God's grace, and Mr. Westbrook let us go, and we signed with Motown Records. But it was, at the time, we were green, and we really didn't know a lot about the record business, per se. We just wanted to sing, We didn't like the business part of it and didn't know anything about the business part of it. So we got into the record company, and a lot of things were taken away from us that we didn't know about, like our publishing, things like that.
And like you hear about that with groups all the time, going into the business, not knowing what you're getting into, with New Edition's case, and we can go on and on about that situation. Now, what was the debut album that came out when you guys signed with Motown as DeBarge?
The debut album was probably All This Love. We did an album before then that they kind of shelved because we got outside managers, and that was a no-no. And that album was just called The DeBarges, and it didn't consist of James on it. The next album, we got out of that contract with the outside managers and signed with inside managers, and then Motown decided to really push the album. So I would say the public would know our debut album probably is All This Love.
Okay, now tell me about that record, because that record had the title track on there and, of course, the classic, I Like It.
That was a very fun record to do. We were a very loving family, very close-knit family at the time, and everybody was working together and making sure that everyone had a song on the album. Motown decided that they loved our sound and that this was something that wasn't done back then. Motown did not let their new artists that come out produce themselves. They let us basically do what we wanted to do because our sound was so different, and they liked our sound and felt that it was marketable. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of love there, and I think that came out on the tracks.
It definitely did. And kids, if you know your history about Motown, they like to keep their stuff in-house.
In-house, yes they did.
Very in-house. Now, I Like It, and all the songs on that album is doing well and everything. Now, was there a point that the label wanted to kind of mark you guys as like the next Jackson's for Motown, knowing the success they had with the Jacksons?
Yeah, actually, that was after that album, and after we got out of the other management contract. Barry Gordy was interested. He came down to the studio during that album, during the end of that album. He loved our sound, and he was getting very enthused with getting back to working with the artists of the company. He was out of working with the artists at the time, and so we gave him an initiative to want to work with the artists again. And so because he was in helping us with the dancing like they did with the old school Motown artists, because he was doing that, they said that we were Barry Gordy's protege, and that we going to be the next Jackson 5 with Motown.
Now, what was it like, you guys blowing it off of the record and appearing on Soul Train? Because I remember a long time ago, way back when, that you guys were on and you guys sang a cappella for A Time to Reveal.
That was exciting. That was really exciting. We got to, Jermaine Jackson said that he found us, and we wanted to sing live because we didn't realize, I guess, at the time when we were younger and watching Soul Train, it was a big surprise to be on Soul Train that it was so small. It wasn't as big as we thought it was, and we had to lip sync. So we wanted the world to know that we could really sing. So that's why we decided to venture off after the end of the song and do All This Love and a cappella.
Okay, and was it at this point that you guys knew that you guys had something big, like doing in-store appearances and seeing the reaction and the girls screaming for your brothers and guys like, "Oh, Bunny, Bunny, Bunny"?
Oh my God, it was more so the girls screaming for the boys. Okay, we went on a promotional tour. Motown sent us out to see what the reaction would be, and I remember our first gig was in St. Louis, and we were shocked that the world loved us like they did. I mean, they actually grabbed us, was grabbing our hair, that, you know, they got through security and everything. It was kind of scary, but the guys loved it.
Yeah, I couldn't blame them, you know, especially for L, because it seemed like everybody was doing their own thing, but like L kind of like the center focus of the group, would you say?
Yes, he was.
Now, was there kind of like any tension amongst you guys, like you guys feeling L is getting too much attention and everybody's not really paying attention to the group as a whole?
Not at first, no. It was kind of like the way it was, because L was the keyboard player. L was the one that actually sat down with us and helped write our songs. So he was like the producer, the overall, even in our childhood. So him or Bobby or I would work the vocals out or whatever, but L plays the keyboard, which I couldn't play or whatever. So that was his job within the family as well as in the group. So that didn't bother us. It bothered us when Motown tried to divide us. You know, that bothered us.
Now, after the success of All This Love, you guys were doing the follow album, and I believe it was Love Me in a Special Way, right?
Stay With Me, Love Me in a Special Way, yeah, and A Dream. And
now, going into making Time to Reveal with A Dream and Stay With Me, when you guys were making it, did you guys think of the impact that those two songs would have on hip-hop? Biggie sampled Stay With Me for One More Chance, the remix, and Tupac sampled A Dream for I Ain't Mad At You.
At the time, no. I can tell you this. Our music in church never changed when we went into secular music. All we did was change the words, so to speak, from God to a lover. But the music never changed. And I talk about that a lot in the book also. So we had, I feel, an anointing upon our music. And when the group broke up, I feel that it's a spiritual thing, that the songs are still out there to this day, because DeBarge is coming back soon. The younger kids in the world today will still have an ear for our music.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, Rich Boy sampled I Call Your Name by Switch for Throw Some D's, and of course Tupac and Biggie, A Dream, Stay With Me, and Ashanti sampled Stay With Me for Foolish. So you guys definitely have my generation known through those artists, by those samples.
Yes, they are. And we are not even really known for that. I mean, I feel that, but it has been kept out there for us. And like I said, the younger generation, when we do decide to come back out again, I believe it will be gospel, but they will know who DeBarge is.
Now, when did your brother Chico come in?
Chico